Hello, this is Benny's Code, and welcome back to part 3 of how to make a quiz app in React. Alright, this part is about displaying the results and the percentage and a try again button. So that way you can redo the test and see how you did. Alright, awesome. Let's start by heading back to the code and adding two use states. So we're just gonna pop a new line right above clickable, and we're going to have two use states, one called show results to determine whether or not we should show the results, and then another state that keeps track of the actual result, so how many the user got correct, or the end result. Alright, so let's make another state, const show results, and set show results. Awesome. Now let's make this equal to use state and make it default to false. Whoops. False. Awesome. Now let's create one more that is result, the final result. So result set result. Make this equal to 0. So use state, its default will be 0. Amazing. Okay, so now that we have these, we can head to the next button. So this is where we will be showing the results, or determining whether or not to show the results. So if the question that we're on is less than the length of the questions, then we want to go to the next question. But if it is not, if it's past that amount, then we can write an else here and set show results to true, and that will show the results. We also want to calculate the actual result. So up here we have the amount correct, so we have that already. So we want to calculate the actual percentage that the user got correct. So we can set result to, now we're going to put another set in here, and then go amount correct divided by quiz data dot questions dot length, and then we can close that off and times it by 100. So that's how we can get the percentage of the correct answers. Awesome. Now that that's done, we can go back down and start displaying the actual, we can actually display the results. All right, now that that's done, we can actually delete set clickable to the handle back, and instead we are going to want to set the answer correct, and we can set that to false to reset it if you go back, and then also set display answer to false, so that way it doesn't show you when you go back. Awesome. Now that we have that, we can scroll down to the handle answer, and what we'll need to change in here is just, we don't need the set answer correct false, because we're already doing that in the next button. Now that we have that, we can scroll down. All right, now we can actually display the results based on if a condition is met. So we can open up some curly brackets here, set ask if not show results. That means we want to show everything that we've made so far. So we can delete this curly bracket, move it all the way down to the end of this div right here, to the right before the last div, and then make an else, new line, closing, and then also move this fragment below the quiz nav, so that way it's all in one element. Awesome. Now that we have that, we can, after this else, we can just write the results container that we want to make. All right, we'll just format that. And since now we have that, we can write out our div, our container. Okay, so div class name, we will give it a class name of results dash container. Close that up and make a closing div. This usually happens automatically. Not sure why it didn't. Awesome. Now that we're in here, we can make a header 1 just to say results. Whoops. Results. And now we can actually get to the results div. So let's create another div that will display the actual circle that you saw earlier. So we can give this a class name. So let's break this into a new line. Class name equals result dash container, just like that. And now let's add some custom style. So we'll have the base styling in the CSS file, but we want to change the color of the border and box shadow depending on whether or not the percentage that the user ranked is above 50. So we can click style, pop this in a new line. Result is greater than 50. If that's the case, then we want to make the border, border 3 pixels, make it solid, and we can add that color code of green. So we can go for CCEAC, and let's add a box shadow as well. So we can go box shadow, and let's do 0, 0, 1 rem, and make that the same color. So let's just copy the same color code and paste it right here. Great. And now if that is not the case, we'll write an else, and let's just copy this whole thing down, and we'll just be changing the color of it. So here we will have the red, so the DB4F4A, just like that. Copy that once again, put it right here, and that should be good. Now we're going to want to have an H1 inside this div that is actually displaying the result. So we'll have this display that result variable with a percentage sign after it, and then we can add a whole bunch of styling to this. All right, so we can do style equals result, or if result is greater than 50, we can then change the color to that nice green for CCEAC. And if that is not the case, we want to make the color equal that red. So DB4F4A, make sure that's in quotes. Great, awesome. So now we have that, add some spacing in here. Awesome, so that should be displaying the correct color based on the way, based on the results. So if we save that, go back to our browser, refresh it, and we get them some of them correct. And let's get one wrong and get the next one correct. 75. Awesome. So we didn't style it too much yet. We will get to that, but it's displaying the correct amount. Great. All right, so let's head back to the code. Now that we have the result displayed, now all we have to do is add a back or try again button to reset everything and allow the user to try again. Awesome. So after this div here, we will create a button. A button that says try again. Just like that. And then we can have an on click here that goes to a reset function that we will create right now. Alright, so save that, go all the way up, and let's create a reset function. Const reset equals arrow function, just like that. And now all we have to do is reset every single state that we've made. So we can start by going set display question equals to 0. Set display answer set to false. Set answer correct equals false. Set amount correct equals 0. Now we can do show or set show results also equal to false. Set result equals 0. And now lastly set clickable to true. Well, that was a boring part. But now that we have this reset function, we should be able to just save that, head back to our browser, and if we refresh this, we have one, just get through these, everything's working great, 20, and awesome. So we get 100, and now if we click try again, it'll send us right back here, and with everything reset, we can go through it again. Awesome. So now we can head back to our code and just style the results page. Yeah, so we have all these functions here, or all these classes already put into place on the containers. Won't have a class on the button. We'll access it the same way we did last time with the name and then the button after it. So we'll head over to the app CSS. And with this quiz nav button, we want the same styling on the try again button. So we can just put comma after the button, do results dash container button, just like that. Now that should make it look the same as the other buttons. Awesome. Now we can customize this result container itself. So result dash container. Whoops, no, we need no S there. We're just result container. Open that up. We want to give it a classic display of flex, justify content and make it center, align items, center as well. And we will give it a width of, I think, about 200 pixels. Looks good. And then also we will have the same thing for the height, so that way it's a square height. And now after the height, we can give it a margin just to center itself of auto, or margin auto to center itself. And then we'll give it a little extra margin on the bottom just to raise it up a teeny bit So 15 pixels. And then after that, we can give it a good background color of var my dark blue. Oh, whoops. Dash dash my dark blue. And give it a border radius. Or let's max the border radius out, which is 50% to make it a full circle. And then the font size, we're going to want extra large. So X dash large, and that should be good. All right, so now that we got all the CSS set up, we can head back to it and just make sure it all looks good. Awesome, let's get through these. 15, 20, the quotes, and here we go. All right, we scored 75, aka 3 out of 4. Feel free to add questions to that. But now everything's styled. We got the circular results, and our try again button. So now if we click try again, it'll send us right back here. And if we get them all wrong, it should display red. Awesome. Well, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I hope you learned something. Feel free to comment, like, and subscribe. I will have all of the code linked in the description and more links down there. So yeah, hope you enjoyed, and I will see you next time.